This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, we are the center of the modern pentathlon world. Opening ceremonies for the international sport are underway right now, and unlike years past, this year's winners could be heading to the Olympic Games. 76 athletes from 40 countries are taking part in the parade of athletes at the Ringling Courtyard. Over the next few days, they will compete in 5 pentathlon sports: fencing, swimming, riding, shooting, and running. This is the final Olympic qualifying competition before competitors head to Rio in August.
Coordinating the whole thing, getting the people together, the workers behind, the volunteers. A lot goes into doing any events.
The pentathlon began in the year 708 BC during the ancient Greek Olympics. It returned to the modern Olympic Games in 1912. Organizers say hosting the pentathlon on the Suncoast brings in around $5 million each year. We are nearly a month into the beach renourishment project on Longboat Key, and the daily flow of dump trucks onto the island is resulting in a unique warning. You might notice these new tube dudes on St. Armand Circle. The artist who makes the sculptures modeled them after the international crosswalk symbol. He says it's a way to send a message to the drivers of the 200 dump trucks that are coming through the area each day.
We hear them beeping their horns, warning people to get out of the crosswalk, jake braking, whatever they can. And it just got to the point where enough was enough.
Longboat Key police say there have not been any major safety problems yet. Renourishment work is expected to come to an end in July. File this under "It's not that we don't trust you, but" the city of Venice is announcing plans to track the coming and goings of its public works employees. Public works vehicles will now be tracked using a GPS system. It will monitor where employees go, as well as their speed, to make sure that they are driving appropriately. Venice city officials say this will be a helpful tool for responding to complaints about drivers.
These trucks, as massive as they are, they're a lot louder than, let's say, a pickup, and some people hear them and think they're going fast when they're not.
We can identify any particular truck, and we can look at how it was driven on any given time within the last 30 days.
Venice has 250 vehicles in its fleet. Only 1 in 5 have a tracking system right now. The city plans to install them in more vehicles later this year. Prescribed burns are meant to keep us safe by preventing forest fires, but they can be deadly for wildlife. A gopher tortoise was found dead after a 16-acre burn at the Robinson Preserve, and now the death of the protected animal is raising questions about how Manatee County handles land management. A survey prior to the burn found no tortoise burrows.
Where the tortoise was found was just really not good gopher tortoise habitat, and that's a good clue to us as land managers that it most likely was not native to that particular site. That wasn't where it was from.
The couple who found the tortoise filed a complaint with Florida Fish and Wildlife. That investigation was quickly closed, with the commission saying Manatee County did nothing wrong. Manatee County School District is facing a problem of its own as it searches for nearly 200 people to fill vacant jobs next year. The district hosted a job fair today, interviewing possible candidates. Districts across the state are facing high teacher turnover rates because of the DROP retirement program. It allows teachers to collect retirement benefits while remaining in the classroom for up to 5 years.
Science and math, those are always the hardest positions to fill. However, here we have band, we have art, we have the spectrum of all positions actually showcased today.
Sarasota County is also expecting to have 200 teachers vacancies this next year, along with 100 support staff positions. This is the largest number of vacancies in almost a decade. Florida Supreme Court is ending its day without making a decision on whether to commute the sentence of a death row inmate's sentence to life in prison, a ruling that could affect nearly 400 condemned Florida prisoners. Timothy Lee Hurst is arguing his sentence should be reduced to life. The case comes after the U.S. Supreme Court found Florida's system for sentencing convicted killers to death was unconstitutional. Florida's Attorney General says Hearst should not have his sentence commuted, and he should undergo a new penalty phase if the death sentence is tossed out.
I'll do everything I can to make sure he wins, but I'm going to stay in this job and finish this job and have a good partner in the White House.
Florida Governor Rick Scott on CNN last night. The governor's name has been floated as a possible vice presidential pick for Donald Trump, but Scott says he is sticking with his job here in Florida. Florida traditionally has been a swing state in presidential elections. Voters went with Barack Obama in 2012 and 2008 and George W. Bush in 2004 and 2000. Recent polls give Hillary Clinton a double-digit lead over Donald Trump in Florida. And finally tonight, at 11, an exclusive look at what's been an extraordinary journey for Donald Gould. Gould completes 180 turn, began last June when a video of him playing piano in downtown Sarasota went viral. From living on the streets to performing audiences to across the country and abroad. ABC7's Bobeth Yates speaks with the former homeless piano man on what this roller coaster experience has been like, as well as what the future holds for him and his fans.
Kind of surreal, you know. 2 months prior to that, I was this homeless guy on the streets, and next thing you know, I'm in a national spotlight, world spotlight.
Again, the full story comes up tonight at 11 o'clock, and that is just a wonderful story, Bob.
A wonderful story, an amazing story, too, and right here along the Suncoast. Incredible. I'll tell you, our weather yesterday was incredible. We had enough rain in one day for the entire month as far as our average goes. It did help with the fire danger, though. Our fire danger index went down 300 points, which is pretty rare for this time of year because we don't normally see that much rainfall, obviously. But things are starting to dry out once again. Our high today warmed to 83 degrees. We're going to see temperatures a bit cooler than that over the next couple of days, too. That's due to this north to northwest wind flow around an area of low pressure off the Carolina coast. Got to look at the day today at Lakewood Ranch as skies at times were cloudy to partly cloudy, and then mostly sunny throughout the afternoon and late afternoon and evening. Skies are clear now. There were a few showers down to our south. An area of low pressure off the Carolina coast and right there near Virginia, spinning near Raleigh, will continue to slip off very slowly to the north and east. It's rather stationary now, and what that is doing is bringing us this northwesterly wind flow, which occasionally, once in a while, brings us little miniature fronts through our area now. We've had a few brief showers into Punta Gorda near Charlotte Harbor just about an hour ago, but nothing like that anticipated through the night. Should be a great sunset. Temperatures in the low 70s by 11 o'clock, but we're looking for lows to start things off tomorrow morning into the upper 50s to low 60s. I mentioned another little pinwheel of energy moves through in the morning, and that means north to northwest winds. Another one moving through on Saturday morning. You can see that with a few, mainly clouds. We're not anticipating any significant rainfall through the weekend. It will stay dry. As far as the wind flow, a bit out of the northwest, a bit brisk at times, and then switching around to the northeast overnight. We are anticipating a nice day, though, for Mother's Day. 86 for a high, lots of sunshine, a great weekend ahead, Alan. Time to dry out after all that excessive rain yesterday.
Yes, our pooleth runneth over.
That's right, absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, manatee populations have rebounded, but humans still kill dozens of them each month. Will being a threatened species change the protections for these gentle creatures? That story when we come back.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct prices.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
Ford Florida Home.
By Florida workers. Because we know Florida weather.
Right now, buy 2 windows, get the 3rd free, plus our lifetime warranty. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
US Med has great news for anyone living with diabetes.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, US Med will ship a new glucose meter right to your home.
And shipping is free.
My new meter uses only a speck of blood, so it's less painful than my previous meter.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, you're covered with US Med. We're welcoming new patients, even if your current provider can't supply you anymore.
I don't even have to test on my fingers anymore. I can test on my hand or forearms, and it's more accurate than my old meter.
So call US Med today, and you'll have a choice of 2 great meters.
One that actually speaks your results, or a meter so small it fits in the bottle of strips.
Act now, and US Med will include a free prescription discount card. We'll also send you a free diabetes cookbook. This is your opportunity.
So call US Med today.
You'll be glad you did.
The all-new mysuncoast.com. Just another way we're here for you.
What's the difference between endangered and threatened when it comes to our beloved manatees? It could mean the difference between life and death. ABC 7's Rick Adams is here to explain. Rick.
Yeah, Alan, U.S. Fish and Wildlife wants to downlist manatees from endangered to threatened. There's concern from some folks that this could lower their level of protection. They can grow to as much as 13 feet in length and weigh as much as 3,500 pounds. What's even more impressive with manatees are how friendly and graceful they are in the water. Matt Dakey, who is visiting the Suncoast with his family from Washington, D.C., is very impressed with these lovable creatures.
They're much bigger than what I thought, shockingly big. They move very slowly, so yeah, never seen them live.
Incredible power, but incredible gentleness.
Dr. John Reynolds, who is a manager of manatee research at Mote Marine Lab in Sarasota, has been studying manatees since 1974. Manatees have been on the endangered list since 1973. However, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service could soon remove them from the endangered list and reclassify them as threatened. A big reason for the possible change? A significant boost to the manatee population. In Florida alone, there are now around 6,500 manatees.
I think as people became aware of the laws and aware of the circumstances associated with manatees, that the people of Florida, all stakeholders basically have done good things to allow the manatee population to start to increase.
But with this possible change to the manatee status, there is concern the level of protection would change. But the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says the level of protection for manatees would remain the same, mainly because the species is still recovering.
For us here in Florida, that doesn't necessarily mean we will see any changes in how manatees are treated. We don't expect removal of speed zones.
In addition to the federal regulations, there are other levels of protection for manatees. The state of Florida manages boat speed protection zones, and counties and cities have manatee protection plans in place.
Even if the federal government maintains the status quo in terms of protection, the other layers of protection also need to make a commitment to keep the effort up.
Well, these gentle giants are a very popular attraction here at Mote Aquarium and out there in the wild, where encounters with manatees are a very common thing. Many people we talked with at Mote tell us no matter what it takes, manatees need to be taken care of.
I think it's a necessity to protect creatures like this, you know, for our future generations to see and experience.
I think they're wonderful, and I think, you know, we should do everything we can to preserve them.
And a big part of preserving manatees is knowing what to do when you encounter them in the wild. That's something that's highlighted in a book co-written by Dr. Reynolds.
If manatees are discovered in the wild, just stay put. Let the animals, they're wild animals, let them do their thing. Enjoy the privilege of seeing these wild animals up close.
Before they make any final decisions, U.S. Fish and Wildlife is reviewing all the public comments they've received. Yeah, fascinating creatures there. And we're being told Fish and Wildlife is expected to make a decision on this within the next 6 months. Alan, back to you.
Thank you. And coming up, our roundtable.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Did you know? When your dog stays at Canine Corral, the play is free? Contact Canine Corral today about boarding and daycare packages. Canine Corral, where the love is.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second Spin Mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
And joining us for more on tonight's topic is Marcus Lindemann, a professor of marine biology at State College of Florida. And joining us by Skype is State Representative Larry Ahern of northwestern Pinellas County. He is the sponsor of a House bill which would have required Fish and Wildlife to see whether manatee speed zones are needed. The bill was killed in the subcommittee during the legislative session. I want to thank you both for joining us. And Professor, let me start with you. What really does the difference between endangered and threatened mean?
An endangered species, by the definition under the Animal Protection Act, means that the species is in direct threat of extinction, on the brink of extinction, while a threatened species, by the definition, is possibly able to go endangered. So it is a level of severity.
And why does that mean that there is a link or not a link between how these animals are protected?
Well, the Fish and Wildlife Service has discretion as to what measures on the federal level are being kept in place to monitor and protect both endangered and threatened animals.
Right.
It's more a matter of the psychology behind it. An endangered species that is put on the endangered species list will gain a lot of resources and a lot of attention because this is a species that, by definition, we are about to lose permanently.
Right. Representative Ahern, let me ask you this. Does the change in status impact what you believe is the necessity for having these no-wake zones or speed zones on our waters?
Well, it shouldn't. It might, though, as we go forward. I guess my biggest dilemma with them was that the agency, FWC, with the full knowledge of the recovery of the manatee population, continued to go forward over the last year to implement more and more speed zones throughout the state. And in some cases, in my area, was closing certain bays where boaters like to use it to recreationally, so that they're out of the channels and in a safer area. And with the closure of some of those, it was really going to create a situation where there might even be some safety to the boaters as they have to now gather in certain areas that would normally be just a few, spread out. They're all being kind of pushed and compacted into one bay or two bays when there were 3 or 4.
But what is the problem with taking all possible precautions in terms of protecting these animals? They are harmless to us. They are lovable. We see every year, and I believe we have some video of this, of manatees that are injured and killed by propellers from recreational vehicles. And these mammals are everywhere in terms of our waterfront.
Oh, absolutely. And no one is talking about removing anything. Again, they're implementing more here in Pinellas County, in our waterways. Another, I think, 13% will be no wake zones, even with the knowledge that, the population is recovering. Nothing, like I say, it's actually going forward. So nothing has stopped them, while they are supposed to take into consideration as a species recovers, some maybe removal here or there. But that's what the study was for. That was all the bill was about, was let's see how effective these speed zones are. And while we're doing it, let's get a good count and find out where the manatee are, because no one wants to go back towards an endangered species for sure. We want to just make sure that they're protected in the environment where we find the most of them, and at the same time, balance.
Right. Professor, Representative, if you could hold on 1 second, because Professor, you have some thoughts about that.
Yes, one of the problems with locating the manatees is that changes in the local conditions, weather, sudden rains, which we've had yesterday, will change the location of manatees in an unpredictable manner. So we can say, yes, this is an area that manatees frequent very often, but it only takes one change in weather, which we are all aware of, that we cannot predict very well, to have them move in a completely different area. One other thing that has not been mentioned so far is the fact that Florida is a tourism state. We live by the tourist industry. That is true. But we have had record numbers of people coming down here, which also increases the number of boats. So now we have an increased manatee population, and we have an increased number of boats.
So in your opinion, do we need more speed zones, or?
I wouldn't necessarily say we desperately need more speed zones, at least not until we know whether the increased manatee numbers and the increased numbers of recreational vehicles actually lead to more manatee deaths.
And Representative Ahern, let me ask you, if you cannot definitively say where these animals are likely to habitat or where they are, then how can you accurately count them and therefore determine where these zones should be or not?
Well, that's what we tasked the agency to do. That's one of their jobs, and we know that there's certain places where they do they're more abundant, let's say, than not. Homosassa Springs and certainly in some of the marinas and bays, we know where they tend to go because there's seagrass there, places for them to feed. And all this is saying is, let's just make sure that we're not overdoing it, so to speak, when it comes to, and even the professor agrees, we don't need more speed zones, and this study would tell us just how effective speed zones are or aren't. I mean, it's the on the list of things that are most dangerous to the manatees. It's at the bottom of that list. I mean, red tide is the number one problem, and why we don't study that a little bit more, I'm not sure.
Over a third of all deaths occurring due to impacts with recreational watercraft. So it is a very significant number. Another problem that you brought up with red tide
that's not the information that I have.
Representative. I'm
well,
sorry,
that's not the information I have. I have red tide.
Another of the problems he brought up is
400 a year. And more in some seasons when it's more severe, and boat strikes are average at about 100. So I'm not sure what information he's going on.
I did not hear any of the things he said.
Let me ask you this: is this a unique situation, given the nature of the manatee, that we don't have exactly the same kind of situation with other mammals and marine life in terms of their proximity to our waterways?
Well, one of the biggest problems stems from the fact that we actually do not even know exactly what constitutes a healthy population for the manatees. We've had a 500% increase in numbers, but by the point in time where we actually put the manatee on the endangered species list, we had pushed them to the rate of extinction, and before then, we had never established a count for a healthy population, because historically we have been hunting them for meat and also for trophies and their hide. So to say that we know definitively that now they are out of the endangered zone is a bit of an assumption, a very strong assumption.
All right, Representative Ahern, let me ask you this. Why was your bill killed in the committee in terms of what rationale, and what is the likeliness that it's going to come back in the next session and be successful?
Well, it wasn't really killed in committee. It just died there, as they do sometimes when a bill's not moving a companion bill in the Senate. So there just wasn't any appetite, let's say, at this time for it in the Senate. But I think with, you know, if we proceed, and I don't think there's anyone is proceeding with more speed zones, although, again, we're already under that gun. But I find it curious because no one says there's no open season on manatees. It's not, people aren't hunting them now for any reason whatsoever. And we're not going back to that. In fact, I'd be directly opposed to any possibility.
And I appreciate that, Representative. And Professor, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for, and we'll be back in just a moment.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, because Sarasota Ford guarantees you our lowest price on every new Ford every day. Save on America's best-selling truck, 39 years running, the Ford F-150, Fusions, Escapes, over 800 vehicles on-site or online, all on sale. Buy with 0% for 60 months. And now, get up to $2,000 trade assistance. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
That's Chuck, proud homeowner, regular do-it-yourselfer. Today he's attempting an electrical repair. This is Pablo. He's an electrician with Mr. Sparky. How's he doing, Pablo?
Terrible, Mike.
Yeah. What Chuck doesn't realize is that almost 68,000 home fires are caused every year by electrical problems.
What?
If you don't have the proper tools and training, he's liable to start the next one.
Little help here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
You might want to write that number down.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Standardized testing. The phrase alone frustrates students, teachers, parents, and even some school board members. One group of students particularly affected by these exams are those with special needs, such as Maddie Drew, who has cerebral palsy but is still required to take the annual exams. When her mother tried to appeal to the Department of Education, she was turned away. Now a lawsuit is in the works, and here's what you have to say. Kay Randall writes, hopefully she can make a difference. Students should be judged on how much they have improved throughout the school year. Every child is different. And Ellen Klein Posa writes, what should be changed? Everything. I remember taking Iowa Basics every year. The teachers told us a day or two ahead. We did the testing and no one freaked out, got a pay cut, or flunked a grade because of it. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news at 7. That's all the time we have for this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Cohn. Have a great night.